Hi everybody, my name is Temitope Bolade Akinbode and this is
Diche Enunwa.
Both of us are writers and we've been running Writers Inc. for 6 years now. 2 women running a business.
Yeah.
And over the years...
a lot of people have asked us, how are we doing this? How have we stayed in business without, killing each other or without going our separate ways, with money involved, with egos involved? Like, how have we been doing that? And so we thought, it'd be good to do a video so everybody can get their questions answered all at once.
So this video is called Partnership Nuggets that have worked for us over the 6 years that we've been running our business. We believe and we hope that at the end of this video, you are definitely going to know how to run your business if you're in partnership with somebody.
When you're in partnership, like a business partnership with somebody, you need to understand their strengths and their weaknesses. Because if you do not understand their strengths or their weaknesses, you won't be able to maximize their strengths, and their weaknesses will annoy you.
And you'll be frustrated.
And you'll be very frustrated.
Very much so.
Because the two of you will be operating in things that you're not strong at, maybe just because you're trying to prove to the other person that you can do it. There's no need. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. If it's not your strength and it's the other person's strength, moving on. For example, when I write, I don't see the comma or full stop on my laptop. I just write because at that moment it's gushing. And if I stop to start thinking, oh, which one is paragraph? Forget it. Even though sometimes that people will say, Diche, try now, then I'll try. And she'll say, no, command is supposed to be here. It's full stop. And should I leave it? Let me just leave it for you, because that's why I'm creating more work for you. So I understand that those things are not my strength. And so when I write and I'm done everything, Tokwe will put all the full stops and the commas that are there. And she understands that might be a weakness for me. So she doesn't, even if she says it, if I try, she still understands that.
True, yeah, true.
This is not, and it's not important, because the things that I need Diche to do, which I maybe come up with interesting dialogue or whatever, she's good at that. So it's fine.
Yeah. So I also remember, because again, I would refer to the beginning a lot, because I think that was sort of where I needed to make a lot of adjustments. I needed to grow. I needed to, again, like I said, especially when you're choleric and you're dealing with someone who's a phlegmatic. So, and I remember that at some point my husband said to me, he said, Tokwe, do you want this partnership to work? Because if you want this partnership to work, then you need to think of this as a marriage. You need to think of it like you are in a marriage covenant with Diche, like you are married to Diche. So if you are married to Diche and there is no way out, what are you going to do? And that's what he said to me. When he said that to me, it got me thinking, like, okay, if I know that I'm not going to leave this thing, or I'm not going anywhere, how am I going to handle this thing? So it was in the beginning. I remember that this whole, knowing your strengths and weaknesses and all that. I remember the clients used to reach out to you. And the thing used to be like, I don't understand, am I not here? Yes, like and I think that I had to get to the point where I had to admit to myself that, look, Diche handles these people better. You really don't want to be bogged down with the headache of it, or the, whatever, especially when they want something and you're trying to explain something and they're not getting it, then you now tell them, they will now believe it. I'm like, well, see, don't come and be stressing yourself. This is obviously not your strength. But then when it comes to billing or, asking for money, I know that, okay, this is my strength. Like, you absolutely would just turn your face away.
You want 5 naira? Okay, take. Don't worry.
Yes. Like, even to chat money. Diche cannot chat money. I'm like, it's not the same message. Hey, God. Not the same message. So, being able to identify that this is your strength, this is my strength. And then when it comes to storytelling, I realized that you're very questioning the characters. You're really good at that. So a lot of times it's always weird. Even when remember when we had to go for the when we had to split at Flatmates conference.
Okay, yes. You had to go for the Johnson's conference while I was still at the Flatmates conference.
And I cried. Because
baby.
I don't blame you. Like, you didn't want to cry.
I know.
It was the first time that I think that we were actually doing something that we were not together. And so it was such a, so Diche will not be here with me. Hey! I usually like when you're in the room talking about story, because I know that that's really your strength. You're very passionate about storytelling. I know my strength is plotting. Diche would say no now. Like, she would not even bother. She said, I'm telling you, this thing is a gift. It's a gift. It's
Yes,
not everybody that has
it's not.
It's not everybody that has. So in the job that you do, basically what we're saying, in the
Yeah.
job that you do, identify what each person
Is good at,
yes,
and let them do it.
exactly.
Don't struggle. Don't fight. Just allow them do it.
Yeah.
The next thing that we've said is contract is good or covenant is better. And when Tope said that her husband told her at some point, imagine this is a marriage. Think of it as a marriage. What would you do? Do you have any, do we want to leave just because of this tiny thing? So that, that got us thinking, and, we would always refer to what we do as, yes, it's important to have a contract with your partner in whatever business that you're going into, whatever, have a contract. That's good. But the thing about the contract is that you're there to protect yourself. Everybody is protecting. True. Everybody is interested in protecting themselves rather. Our pastor, Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo, has a whole message on his YouTube page about what the difference is between contract and the covenant. Yeah. And I think you should go and watch that and see what exactly it is that we're talking about. Yeah. Because with Tope and we don't have it. It might be a little embarrassing to say that we've been in this partnership for this long, and it's not like we have any we don't have any written down contract because we know that's not what's binding. What's binding is that we understand that we're in this for the long haul. Yeah. We are in this for, like, we're more interested in the other person's benefits. We trust each other because when you have a contract, you're having a contract because, but at the back of your mind, you don't trust that other person. You don't trust that other person is going to fulfill their own end. And so you feel the need to put up a contract to protect yourself. True. But over time, we've realized that even without a physical contract, there's something in your head that you cannot mess with what is going on here.
You can't call Diche and say, oh, we have it. There was the example you talked about this morning where you said somebody called you and said
they want to do a job and all that. And I said, okay, I work with someone. He said, what's even wrong with you? I already called that other person. And she said she works with someone. I said, because that's how we work. Yeah. So there's never any time that somebody will call me and then I'll just say, oh, yeah, I'm going. Like, I work with, we're always two. If you're taking me on, you're taking the other person on. And when they call her too, it's the same thing.
I particularly remember the first job that we did with Mr. Nkalgun. And Diche wasn't around because that was when our sister, Pastor Mildred, was going to give birth, and she had to go with her to America to help. And so Diche wasn't around. And then this was in Kalgun, like the Yinka Okun. And so when the call came and everything, I told her, I think I told you about it.
I said, what are you waiting for?
I should go. And so I went. But while I was there, I kept telling him, oh, I know someone, she's really good. She's my friend. We're business partners and everything. They were like, okay. Are you sure she'll be able to go? But I said, is it not Diche? She will cope, don't worry. I collected episode for her. I made sure that in fact, I think it was some of my episodes I said you should write. I told her everything that we did at the conference. I explained the characters to her. I went all the way out. She wrote the episodes. I said, are you serious? It's okay, I bring her for the next one. Yeah, we should be around for the next one. I said yes. So that's how we started working with Mr. Inka. That was the mindset of, this person is my person. We are together. Yeah. We are watching out for each other. That's the mindset, the covenant sense that you need to have.
Yes. So yes, you can do contracts. That's amazing. But if you don't have a covenant sense, then there's a problem. There's some people who stick closer than a brother, and that's what you need.
So there was a producer that we've been working with, and I started having issues with the producer. The producer is a very good friend, and then I started having issues with the producer. I just felt like I didn't like her attitude. I felt like she was sometimes entitled, and so when she would do some of these things, I'll tell the Diche, see, I'm not digging this attitude. I don't get that. Like, he's rubbing off wrong all over. Like, that is not working for me. And so she said to me one day, she said, see, I'm going to put you guys on a phone call because I already told her that it's Tope I'm in partnership with. It's not you. I cannot be in partnership with you.
So don't spoil my partnership, because
you know,
so that you align or you go.
And so when she said that to me, I didn't say anything to her, but it touched me differently. Like you said that to her. She said, yes, so I did. I told her. Cannot. She's not the one I'm in partnership. Don't come and spoil my partnership. And, it touched me differently. It made me, see her like, okay, yeah, like, it's part of the things that just keeps cementing the foundation that is already there, So it was
yeah, amazing. And the person's business was important as well. So what I did was I put the two of them on a call, and I was on the call, and I said, okay, two of you are going to have to fix this. Tope said this. You said this. Start fixing it here, because
and we fixed it.
Yes, and they fixed it.
And we fixed it, and we're good now. We're good now.
So that worked.
Yeah. And you said something to me this morning when we were discussing about the soul covenant thing. And I said I didn't remember, and you were going to tell that story. Do you remember? Oh. The one about where you said somebody was on a call, the producer called and was speaking.
Oh, yes. So I remember there was a time where we're working with someone, and I think that at some point she felt maybe we were expensive, and she felt like maybe if she split us in half, would be cheaper. And I was in the car, I was driving, and so she called Tope that day, and she was speaking in Yoruba, and she was trying to convince Tope that you can't do it now. Do you need the other person? You can do it. Tope said, she's here, she's listening to like everything you're telling me. I'm telling her. And it was so amusing, because like she said, those are some of the things that continue to cement that trust. When you show that, see, this is my person. Any other person.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So that, back of my mind, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, so the next thing that we'll be talking about is handling conflicts. Yes, because a lot of people think, oh, we always agree, we're always good, we don't quarrel. That's not true. So how do you handle conflict so that it doesn't become a permanent break of your business or a permanent dissolution?
Again, you have different temperaments here. And I think that that's a strength, really, because it means that we have different strengths, we have different weaknesses. So what is a strength is my weakness, and what is my weakness is our strength. And so in the beginning, when we'll have conflict, first of all, I think that we would first of all sulk. Yeah, like you just will keep quiet, and you know how husband and wife do in a marriage. Yes, that's usually the first thing. But after a while, I've always been a talker. If there's an issue, let's talk about it. She will just, can we move on?
I want to talk.
I want to talk.
Oh, God.
I want to
In the beginning, that thing used to just stress me out. Like, okay, we've quarreled about this thing. I don't want to, do this. I don't like this. The way I would work is moving on. I'll just come and say, I beg, talk about that thing. Like, I want to just move on from that, because I believe that we're friends, that yes, this was a temporary situation. And I feel like, I beg, moving on. The client has called though. I just want us to continue talking. And Tope is like, no, we need to talk about. I'm like, what's wrong with this one? Talk about what? Auntie, do work for me. But what that taught me is those things, talking about it helps those things not to repeat themselves.
Which is exactly why I want us to talk about it. Yes, because I've learned that sweeping things under the rug doesn't always work. What will happen, and especially for someone who with our own temperament, what will happen is that she would bottle it up and bottle it up and bottle it up, and then the day she's going to explode, I'm going to be wondering, where did all this come from?
Yeah.
So I immediately, again, maybe I could sense that because my husband is also a phlegmatic. So I quickly knew that this is not a good way to go. Oh, yeah. So when she says, I say, no, we must talk about it. It's not like it's not like yes, roll your eyes, but it's not like I feel comfortable as well having to talk about those kinds of issues. But what do we do? I remember that there was a time when we wanted to increase how much we collected, but it sort of led to an argument. And so what we did was we called our accountant. I told our accountant, and then she came and said, okay, yeah, what's the problem? So the two of us sat down, and Diche was just wondering, Jesus, what is the problem?
At that point, I think I felt like Tope was not being practical. I felt like these were just lofty dreams that was not practical. You know how, your business, she's thinking, we should, this money is what we'll collect, or we should do this and do that. And I just felt like, where is the money coming from? Who is going to pay you this money? Who's going to give you the money to do all this? Like, I was just looking at it from a very practical and logical point. And I just felt like, yes, we're in faith, but Auntie, this is becoming borderline ridiculous. But Tope did not agree. She said, this thing will happen, we will do it. And when it wasn't working, she called third party. And I didn't even know. So she called the accountant, and then I was going on. She said, no, Diche. I'm like, God. Seriously?
No, because I thought that this was important to our business. And I've always been the kind of person, or the person that would be able to sense that let's raise how much we charge. And a lot of times actually in this business that we have been running, that's usually where we have conflict. When I say, okay, I think we should charge more. And Diche is wondering, last year we charged this amount. Why do you want to charge this one? I'm like,
last year, last month.
I'm like, no, now, and I'm like, please, auntie, your rent, your landlord, they'll just increase rent. Things, you go to the market, things will just automatically increase. So ideally, our earning power also should increase.
Yeah.
That was my rationale. And Diche would argue. And it took me a while to understand where you were coming from, which I totally get. Because you just felt like the gap was too much. And that was your issue.
Yeah.
Like the gap was too much.
Because it gives the impression that
you could have
if you can collect 60, then at 100, you were trying to cheat me. I think that was the issue that I had.
That was the issue.
So I felt like if you're going to land if you start at 100, you can't land anything less than 80 or 90, because it gives the impression that that means that 100 you wanted to cheat me, now if 60 is actually okay. So we always had all those kinds of conversations. Yeah.
Until we now decided, you know what, I'm not going to be talking money.
Whatever people agree.
Yeah. So she just got to the point of, you know, whatever you people agree to, whatever you decide, that's fine with me. And even though that's always the case, and that's what we've agreed, I still would run whatever I want to build the client by her. I would tell her, this is how much I'm looking at. Or I will first sample her opinion and say, how much do you think we should, you know, charge the client? Because again, this is an industry where there isn't any particular fixed rate. It's not like goods where, you know, you bought it at this amount. The benchmark that you're going to put on it is maybe 1.5% or whatever it is that you bought it. So I would usually still run it by her and say, okay, how much do you think we should charge the client? And if she says, oh, let's do this, I'll be like, she might say, okay, let's do, say for example, 100 naira. And I'll be like, okay, but I'll tell the client 120. Yes, because again, I've learned that when you're negotiating with people, some people will pay you. You can't say somebody can just pay you the 120 and that's it. And then some people will say, 120. Because you have said 120, it will be difficult for them to price you 60 or 70. So they will most likely price you maybe 100 or a 90. And so if you are pricing me because we've agreed to 100, if they are saying a 90, I would say no. We didn't agree to 90, we agreed to 100. Let's discuss that we have that kind of thing. So usually we need to find that balance. You have to be able to find the balance. You need to know, you have to run stuff by each other. You have to, so that when conflict arises, you know how well you can handle it, especially based on the way that you know the person, you know their strengths, you know their weaknesses, you know, okay, this is what they like, this is what they don't like.